Well. That is a viewer Nikita, God of everything. Ladies and gents, this is that time once again. If you do hear my voice, you know that it is a midday talk session. You're with me, your host, John, and I'm seated right here. Opposite of me is an incredible woman, Andiswa Madikane. Who is that? Yes, we'll find out just now after this commercial break. Well, to those people who are tuned in on our radio platform and also on social media, this is the Midday Talk session, and we talk about business. We bring in amazing people, influential movers and shakers of the Bay. We bring people that do business. Yes, we mean the business of things. So, Andiswa Madikane is an incredible entrepreneur, and she does so many things. We were just having a chat off air, and we're like, wow, what an incredible woman. And I'm just going to introduce her by reading her biography, then we'll get to know everything about her. So, Andiswa Madikane is an LLB graduate. She acquired her degree at the University of Fort Hare in East London. She is currently working as a junior legal advisor at Discovery Invest. Andiswa Madikane is the founder of Changing Paradigms with Andy, which is a YouTube channel aimed at promoting aspiring businesses and entrepreneurs. Changing Paradigms with Andy was later turned into a company wherein they host events, do mentorship programs, facilitate corporate events, and also act as consultants for new business owners. Apart from being in the business space, Andiswa is extremely passionate about student and career development, and as such, she has a registered NPC called Changing Paradigms Foundation, which is aimed at facilitating and initiating career expos in schools. A dream she has always had. She is also working closely with the Nelson Mandela Bay University as a mentorship trainer on their program called SEED. And Diswa is also a writer and a publicist. She has written for various blogs and online magazines, namely Kelwa, Quella Woman,
Yes.
blog, and Discovery BU newsletter. And she is currently a writer for WhatsApp magazine. WhatsApp. And well, Andiswa, welcome on Agape. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much.
You have anyone in mind you want to give a shout out before we start?
Jeez. Shout out to my mom. I doubt she's listening. Shout out to all my women in business, Nolisa, Nabagazi, Nolukolo. Shout out to everyone.
Well, don't get offended if she hasn't,
Yeah, if I didn't
mentioned your
mention you
name.
guys, you know it in my heart.
Cool. So we're going to talk about business today, and specifically your foundation, Changing Paradigms. So we'd like taking things from the very beginning. So let's do a rewind and take us to the very beginning, the initial start of this foundation and business. How did it start?
Okay. So I guess I've always wanted to have a foundation or a business of this sort. Well, Changing Paradigms came very impromptu. Like, I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, right? I've always wanted to. I'm a person who loves promoting small businesses.
Okay.
Even people who've got business ideas. And I thought the only way that I can do this is by starting up a YouTube channel, right? So in me thinking about the YouTube channel, I was thinking, what's the name? What is going to be the name of the YouTube channel? And I just need to give credit to Zipozike Aliva, who's a best friend of mine.
Okay.
She's actually the one that came up with the name Changing Paradigms. We had a great debate about which name should I use. And mostly I'm always good when it comes to coming up with these things. But I think at this point I was like, I need a divine intervention. And I guess she was that divine intervention. And the name resembles shifting things around.
Okay.
I always refer to myself as an abnormal person, but in a good way.
Okay.
My mind works in 30 years to come. You know, I'm a very innovative person.
Okay.
I think of things that have not been done. And I also want to put out or do things that have not been done. And I always try to penetrate spaces that have not been utilized yet. So hence changing paradigms with Andy came about.
Wow.
So it came about at one night with my friend, supposedly Aliva, who said, I'm going to come back to you tomorrow morning with the name. I was like, make it quick, please. So that's how the name started.
Awesome. And we, for listeners or viewers out there, maybe you don't understand what a paradigm is. A paradigm basically is a way of thinking, a way of seeing things, worldviews basically.
Yes.
So you having that adjusted, we usually call paradigm shift.
Yes.
Something that confronts your way of perceiving things,
Yes,
reality.
true.
Like especially in the age that we are living in, things are changing
rapidly,
very quickly. So we did a little bit of research and we found out that you studied law at the University of Fort Hare, and but you did complete, but you did not do your articles. Why was that?
Yeah. I didn't like what I was studying at first. I think it was not a conscious decision for me to go out there and to say I want to study law. But my dad had so many ambitions for me, and I can't blame him for that. I feel like at that time he felt like that was the most relevant thing for me to study. Living a dream that he's always had.
Sure.
I did enjoy it, and I did do well in it, and it's taken me to greater places. But I realized that I've got a higher calling, and my higher calling is definitely not the legal route. My higher calling is what I'm doing now.
Sure.
So I think even when I was doing my articles, I was so frustrated. I went into depression because I was stuck in this place, and I was thinking, I don't even want to be here. And I couldn't I couldn't identify where I wanted to be, but I knew it was not what I was doing. So that's the whole reason why I didn't want to further any of the legal work in terms of and when it comes to law. Yes, now I am a junior legal advisor, but maybe I won't be a junior legal advisor for quite a long time, for a long time. Maybe I'll change, but it also depends on if I can go or venture into the space that I want to go into. So
yeah, and so is the tale of so many people actually, where they find themselves in a dilemma, where you have to be in what you are in because of convenience, not because of passion, because conveniently you want to put food on the table, you want to pay bills and things like that, but your heart is really for this other thing, so photography. It's but you're like, okay, photography, how am I gonna get yes, and we have those conversations, which I believe you are very involved with, with the students. We're gonna talk about that shortly. Okay. So take us to the vision of a paradigm, changing paradigms foundation. What exactly is your vision?
Okay. So
you said you see 30 years into the future, so
I see in the future.
Take us there.
Okay, so from the YouTube, the changing paradigms with Andy, I then decided to change not to change it, but to turn it into a foundation. Okay. Changing Paradigms Foundation. That's how it came about. For the longest time, I've always had the passion of student development. Even now, it's something that I've always wanted. I love developing people in all types of way. I always say, even in our conversations, I always want to have that developmental impact on a person's life. And career-wise, I think I've leaned on towards education a lot, and that's where our main focus is on Changing Paradigms Foundation, where we do career expos for schools. So what we do is you find that in most township schools and most other disadvantaged schools, learners don't really know what they want to study further. So I'm bringing that to them, wherein we... Yeah. So that's basically essentially what Changing Paradigms with Andy essentially focuses on. But we also do mentorship, facilitation. We also host events, and we also do we host events, and we also facilitate corporate events, and we also consult for businesses.
Wow.
So yeah.
A woman of many skills, just like Noah Bisa is just saying on our Facebook. She just dropped a comment. She said, a woman of many skills. Yeah. She is indeed. So you are also passionate about business. And, we were reading, I was reading, one of your articles, and I think it's by, what's the name of this company?
Quella Woman.
No, not Quella Woman.
WhatsApp magazine.
No, the other one.
BU. Discovery PU.
No. Sorry. Okay, I just forgot the name of the company.
Okay.
All right, but you said there is quite a number of reasons that businesses do fail.
Yes.
So if you can just give us some of the main reasons why business, especially startups.
Yeah. Oh, that was Abundant Solution.
Yes, that's the name, Abundant Solutions.
Yeah, so
Not so just dropped it.
So let me start here. So many people want to start a business, and so many people have different reasons for wanting to start a business. I think we also discussed that when we had our conversation earlier on that some people want to start a business to make money now, and that's not always the case. Some people want to start making a business because Andiswa has got a business, right? And also some people have got the vision but they lack information, right? So that becomes a failure also because you don't have enough knowledge as to how your business can go further. You're under the impression that, okay, I've started my business, now I'm stuck. What am I going to do? For instance, with the whole registration of companies, you know, most of the time when we start business, we don't have money, right? And the last thing you want is to pay 1.5 for someone to make you register for a business. And people don't know that you go to CIPC, you pay literally 175. So that's information that they don't know. Another reason why startup businesses fail is also the responsibilities that we have, you know, as young people. And I'm just going to put it out there, especially as young Black people, as young Black people who are from disadvantaged backgrounds, we have got families that look up to us, you know. We feed our families, who are breadwinners, you know. As heavy as that sounds, and as it's something that you don't want to share, you know, but I feel like in these platforms, very important, so that the next person can know that, oh, Andiswa is also actually going through the same thing, you know. So that hand to mouth, you know, when you've got a business now, the 10,000 you make, you decide, okay, let me pay for my child's school fees. You know, that's the first thing that comes to mind when I initially started my business. And when I made my small little profit, I thought, okay, let me pay for my child's school fees in advance, you know. So that thing also cripples the business because the profit you're making for the business should be for the business. The profits you make for other stuff should be for other stuff in order for our businesses to be sustainable. So there's various aspects of why businesses fail, but I think essentially those ones that I just mentioned are the core issues of why startup businesses fail.
Absolutely. You know, many people, as you said, many people start a business because they want to have a crutch, you know, to work with, and it shouldn't be so. You know, the narrative is a bit different because, as you said, many people come from a disadvantaged background. So to cater for all the basic needs in life, they look up, you know, to a business. And we know that in the first 6 months you won't be cash flow positive, you know. You just be, you know, struggling, you know, with overheads, you know, to meet the dead ends and everything. So well, we're talking about paradigm shifts in business, and we have actually faced two very big paradigm shifts. One, which is the COVID, you know, situation, the pandemic, and two, we are living in the fourth industrial revolution where everything is now going online, digital. You know, and everything digital. So what is your recommendation for a startup, like somebody who wants to launch a business now? What kind of mindset should they have? Say some old folks, you know, like some of us, you know, who've been, you know, probably, you know, born in the 80s or whatever, and who find that, well, you know, things were working, you know, then. How do I shift into the mindset that to make me prosperous?
I feel like we should all adopt at this stage, whether we are from the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, so forth. We should adapt to the mindset of innovation. We should adapt to the mindset of things changing at a certain time. We should adapt into a mindset of wanting to learn new things. Back in the day, we used to have Microsoft. I can't remember Microsoft something, but I used to do computer appliances technology studies at school, and you find that software that was used then is no longer used now. We used to use a floppy disk back then, but now we've got a USB. So it those people who learned at that time, which is I'm also part of those people, I had to adapt with time. I had to adapt with change. So that's the mindset I'd say to any entrepreneur out there that they should adopt. We change, transformation. We need to transform because it's like cell phones. I was saying, you know what, like I've stopped being this one person who says, yo, I'm going to get an iPhone now. I'm going to get this iPhone, because things change rapidly, and we must be able to, you know, to be able to pull through with the pace. So that's all I can say. Digital, go digital. We've got online things now. Teach yourself. Go take short courses. There are people like me. I'm willing, available, and able to help. Or I can also recommend people that can be able to help those entrepreneurs who are not acquainted with the digital aspect now. So yeah, innovation. People must go with the times.
Absolutely. And I liked, you know, a couple of entrepreneurs always say this, you know, you have to unlearn, learn, and relearn, you know, which is basically like, well, the strategy that made you successful in this era might not make you successful here. Exactly. So you have to eat yourself up, you know, you know, and all that, and then recreate and rediscover yourself. Absolutely. So I want to find out why you are so passionate about conducting career expos in school.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah. I'm gonna answer this with a basic answer first. I think and I feel like it is my calling. Essentially, this is my calling.
Sure.
God has called me. Kona, there's a term in Xhosa. I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna translate it.
Yeah.
It says ukuphila kwam, kukuphila kwakho.
Okay.
Me being alive, it means that I will make you alive. I don't know how to put it in English.
Okay. All right.
But I am here to serve, basically. And education plays a vital role in my life. You know, I've been very fortunate to be taken to good schools by my parents. I give them credit for that. I've been so blessed to travel the world and see things that other children have never seen before. So with that, I decided that this is actually what I want to give off to the masses, to those who are underprivileged. I'm very passionate about education. I think a part of me could have been a teacher. I love teaching. I love imparting knowledge. And for me, I felt as though when I identified how township schools operate, how disadvantaged schools operate, I felt like I have got a bigger voice, you know, to be able to transform those learners' perspective about life. There was this other program that's called Take a Girl Child to Work. You find that in townships, because kids are exposed to their small environment. They know Auntie Ban works at Checkers as a cashier. They feel like after they've done everything in school, that's what they're going to be. How do I change that perspective of that child? I take that child for a tour.
Sure.
I take that child and I bring that child here in studio. I show this child that this is something else that life
possibility.
Offers. There's possibility, endless possibilities in life, and that changes their perspectives. So that's why I'm passionate. I hope I'm answering the question. I get really passionate when I talk about this. So that's my role to play. I've got a bigger voice there. And why not expand and make sure that I touch so many lives so that we can also have a better country, man, and a better South Africa, and a better world also.
Wow. You know, I mean, talking about that, you know, possibilities, you know, because if you have a limited view of yourself, if you know that this is all I can do, you know, it reminds me of that story of the eagle that grew up with a chicken and was looking at another eagle flying and like, oh, I wish I could do that. You know, but like, you know that he was an eagle. He was squawking, he grew around chicken, all that. So, you know, like having grown in certain environments that, you know, and all that, you like, all you see is a limitation.
Yes.
It's what you cannot, you know, be and what you cannot do. You know, sometimes, and the Bible says this very clearly, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Yes.
You know, so, well, I like that idea about the changing of that paradigm and introducing these things that confront, you know, the identity, you know, whatever thinking and thinking processes and possibility of that. I can actually become that and all that. I can become that. I can do this. It's possible. And especially in this generation that we are living in, where you know, knowledge is basically free. You know, you don't have to go to varsity. You can go to the Varsity of YouTube or University of Google.
Google.
You know, so totally, absolutely, I like that. So you are also a writer and publicist. I want to find out what inspires you to write and what are some of your main themes.
Okay. So what inspired me to write initially was pain. I get emotional when I talk about this.
Sure.
Okay.
Take a moment.
Yeah. So pain inspired me to write. Experience inspired me to write. I remember I would sit in the early hours at 4 a.m. And I'd be listening to some gospel music, reflecting on things that I had no control over. But I realized that I need to face them. So that's where my passion for writing came from. There was one time I was meditating, I was praying, and I decided, let me just grab my laptop. And I've been following writers at that time. I've been following people who used to write poetry. That's where I started. I started writing poetry. I started jotting down how I was feeling. And with that, it expanded. Every day I wanted to write. Every day. And it was a healing process for me, to a point where I realized, I actually like this. And growing up and seeing other things happening in life and reading other people's stories, I realized I don't have to write about sad stories anymore. I can write about hope, I can write about how to be resilient. I've got a big article from Kwela Woman BU blog, first blog that I've written, that anyone has written. And it talked about resilience, the art of resilience. Now I write about hope. Now I write about things that I wish I could have whispered to myself at that time. But I also appreciate, because it's that pain that has made me realize that actually this is my passion. Then obviously with the other stuff now that I'm doing, I don't only write about motivation. I also write about what's happening, like current affairs and all of that. But that essentially came from that. That's when I found my passion for writing. It was through pain.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely. Man, I like it because, basically turning lemon into lemonade.
No, that's true.
Wow. And let's come back to the business of things. And, well, you said, in the paradigm, in your vision, that you actually have a vision 30 years.
Yeah.
You can see things into the future.
Yes.
Well, you see where currently people are, startups, and especially in the Black community.
Yes.
And you see all the struggles and many businesses closing their doors.
Yes.
Well, because maybe bad business practice or something, or lack of information, lack of funds, whatever. So I want to ask you, what do you want to see in the small business environment in GQ?
GQ. It almost felt like you were talking about another town.
It sounds like, yeah.
I still need to get used to the name. One, township economy, man. I just want to see township economy booming, I believe in township economy because now I've also had my fair share in living in the township. I see how difficult it is to access information. I see how difficult it is to access funding. Not that I've got funding, I'm also going through the same, but I've got channels, I've got a way, I've got things, I've got people. So that's what I've been bringing also into the township. So what I want is to see township economy boom. I want to see business people from the township doing amazing things, going global, and also obviously seeing Gqeberha just go up, as a city. I know this one guy at a business chamber event that I went to said Cape Town actually wants to be its own town or something like that.
Yeah, I heard something like that.
Yeah,
as well.
So he was like, I wish for that in Gqeberha because we've got so much. We've got so much, but we underutilize and we are uninformed by so many things. So I really would love to see this town booming and in business. I mean, even the tourism sector was also going through a very dry phase, So I'm just hoping for that. But first and foremost, township economy, because I believe that when you feed the community that lacks the most, chances are the economy is going to go up. Because that's where everything happens. That's where the crime happens. That's where people resort to doing other stuff because they don't get assistance in order to make sure that their business are being recognized. So, yeah.
Wow, absolutely. And I know that that's a very big question even in itself, like to see there's so many levels, that you could go into. But you know what? We everybody should just play their part.
Yes.
If this is your niche and from your company's changing paradigm, foundation, what you would be able to contribute to see that end.
Happening.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. So if you're tuning in with us right now, we want to encourage you to to put an effort to changing the business environment, because we know everything comes down to how money moves in an economy.
Sure.
Everything comes down to that.
That's
money is just a denominator for everything.
everything.
Everything. Say money is not happiness, but well, you can have a good time with
It
money.
buys our heart's desires.
It really does. It does. Well, so I want to find out if somebody is listening to you right now and wants to, like, well, I click, I'm in sync with your vision, and I want to contribute. I want to maybe partner. I want to whatever. How can they contact you? How can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so I'll start with my social media handles.
Okay.
On Facebook, I am Andiswa Madikane. A lot of people always say Andisiwe and they don't find me. I'm Andiswa Madikane. On Instagram, I'm Andy_Madix.
Okay.
On LinkedIn, I'm Andiswa Madikane.
All right.
And I'll provide my email for purposes of safety, and not my cell phone number.
Okay.
My email is titimadikane@gmail.com. I will spell that out.
All right.
It's TITI and my surname, which is Madikane, @gmail.com. But I mean, if someone drops me a message on Facebook or Instagram, then I'll definitely give them my personal details.
Absolutely. Please get in touch with her and support this incredible business and this incredible foundation and an amazing course. Well, they're all there to change the business environment, mentor young startups, and empower people. So we traditionally just want to end with words of encouragement. Do you have any word of encouragement that you could give somebody right now?
Yeah. Believe in the extraordinary. Believe in things happening for you. John, it took me time. Like, I say this and it sounds like it's coming effortlessly. It's not, I think essentially before you even start with big projects, you need to start with the biggest one, which is the internal one. That's you. I always say to people, wake up every day and tell yourself that today is going to be a great day. Wake up every day, pray to God. This other lady that I met said to me, Andiswa, when you are praying, what do you do? What do you say when you are praying? So I just told her what I say. She's like, you're not being direct. You must be direct with God. You must tell God what you want. And when you speak to God, you speak to the universe. And when you speak to the universe, you speak into people's hearts that wish the best for you. So my parting words are, speak life into yourself. Believe in the extraordinary. Just know that you're not just here in this life just for nje. There is a worthy cause. Pray to find it.
Absolutely.
And once you find it, work towards making that thing purposeful. So those are my parting words.
Absolutely. I love that. You were created for a purpose, and you need to come in sync with it. You need to find the reason why you were created. Well, everything that's been created has a purpose. A desk has a purpose. A hammer has a purpose. So you have a purpose.
Definitely.
You need to find it and work towards it. Ladies and gents, that has been Andiswa Madikane of Changing Paradigm Foundation. Get in touch with her. She has provided the email address. We're just going to drop it in the comments. If you want to contact her, please support this incredible entrepreneur, and she just has a big heart for people. We're going to listen to Eben Forever. Stay tuned because we have a very fantastic show at 3 p.m. with Yolanda Singh on the Encounter Me with Dr. Pinky. Yes, Dr. Pinky is going to be here at 3 p.m. Stay tuned. Until next time, it's me, your host, John. Bye-bye.